Today you're going to learn how to build a simple chat app using UIKit. As you can see, here we have an app that supports two-way communication between two people. You can send messages and receive replies in real time. To build this, we're going to be using a service called ZEGOCLOUD, which is a global communication service provider which provide us developer-friendly and powerful SDK and APIs to build many communication features on our apps, such as video call, chat, video conference, and even live streaming. And they are sponsoring this video. So let's take a quick look at their website here. They have what they call UI kits over here that allow you to build different types of apps in low code. So this allows us not to write any backend code or any complex UI. So this makes building prototypes or production apps way faster than usual. So let's scroll down here. So as you can see over here, there are many type of communication services you can use. So you have one-on-one calls, group calls, video conference. And today in this video, we're going to be using the in-app chat. So to get started, you're going to register and make an account by just clicking sign up here. And then over here, you can create your account, right? You can sign up with Google, and all you have to do is just fill out all this information and create a password and then start your free trial. Now over here, you can see that you get free credits. So you can start now and get 10,000 free minutes. So if you're building an app that's gonna use the call UI kit, you're gonna get 10,000 free minutes to test your apps and even more. All right, so over here, I already do have an account, so I'm just gonna go ahead and log in. Okay, now you see the dashboard over here. You can see I've already used some of my free minutes to build other apps, specifically call apps. And this is the admin console. And then on the left sidebar here, you can access analytics, usage, and billing information. And then over here, you can upgrade to a different plan. And right now what we're gonna do is create the project. So we're just gonna click create your project here. And then as you can see, they have multiple options. But for this app, we're just gonna use the in-app chat over here. And we're just gonna pick it, and then we're gonna click next. And then I'm just gonna call this ZEGOCLOUD Chat App. And then click continue. And this will take a few seconds here. So now we have the project created here, so we can go ahead and click on it. And then as you can see, we have a lot of information here. So the most important thing here is the app ID and the app sign, which we're gonna use in the app later. So next, we're gonna go to this service management tab, and then we're gonna go to in-app chat over here. And then we're just gonna click activate, and then ready to activate, so that we can start using it. Cool, so this is what we're looking for. And over here, we don't need to do anything. We can just leave it as it is. And then what we're gonna do is go to the documentation they have about chat apps, right? So I'm gonna add the link to the screen here, and you can go to it, and it's also in the description. But let's go ahead and navigate to it. So over here, I have it open. Now, as you can see here, we already did all of these steps. And as you can see here, the first thing we need to do is make sure we have Xcode 13 or a higher version and use iOS 12 or higher as well. So before we continue following the documentation, we're going to go ahead and create the Xcode project. So let's go back to our home screen here and then open up Xcode. And we're going to create a new project. And we're going to choose app over here and then click next. And then I'm just going to call it ZEGOCLOUD Chat App. And then we're going to choose storyboard, and we're not going to need any testing here. And then Swift, and then no storage. And we're just going to click next. And then I'm just going to save the project here. Cool. So now that we have the project set up, we're going to go ahead and install all the dependencies. So we can close this Xcode project here. And we're going to open up the terminal. And then go to Finder. And we're just going to go to that folder. And then we're just gonna CD and then drag and drop this folder. And then we're gonna run pod init, which will create a pod file for you. And you can see it on the left side here. There you go. And now that we're done with this, we can go ahead and go into that file like this. And then as you can see here, we do have this. And we're going to go back to the documentation and we're just going to add this line here. And then we're just going to exit out. What I like to do is go back and then double check that it's saved. And then we can just exit out again. Cool. And now we're going to go back to the documentation and we're just going to copy this over. And then we're just going to paste it here. And we're going to close this here. And then let's go back to the documentation. And then we're going to just go ahead and run pod install to install everything. Cool. And then we can clear this out. Now let's go back to Finder and let's take a quick look at the project here. Cool. So you can see we have a new workspace here and then pod file. Now you need to make sure to open up the workspace project here and not this Xcode project. So let's go ahead and open this and we can leave the terminal at this point and let's take a look. Cool. So over here we have the view controller and app delegate. Now let's go back to the documentation. Now for the relevant permissions here, it's just for audio and photos functionality within the chat. So we can skip this for this video as the messaging functionality would still work. And we can continue here. And then for the app delegate, we're just gonna copy this over. And then we're just gonna remove all this and paste. Now I'm just gonna remove all the comments here. And then you're gonna need to add your app ID here, which is gonna be a number. And then you're gonna add your app sign over here, which is gonna be a string. Now this is just random, but I'm gonna fill it out off the screen. Now we can just return true over here. And before we start coding, let's run the code for the first time and see what happens. I'm just gonna pick the iPhone 17, for example, and then run it. As you can see, we're running into some sandbox error. To fix this, you can go to the root project here, and then let's go to build phases. Actually, it's build settings, and we can search for user script. So you're gonna just turn this off, and then it should remove the issue. And let's run it again now. So as you can see, the simulator is here now. Looks like it's working. So it looks like it's working. It's not supposed to do anything yet. So let's just go back to the code. And I'm going to go to the view controller here. And then we're going to go back to the documentation here. And we can scroll down. So as you can see, there's a lot of code here for the view controller. And we're just going to copy pretty much everything here. So let's copy it. And let's just remove these comments here. I'm just going to remove these comments. So for your user ID, you can just enter something random here for now. So I'm just gonna put Jake here, and then for this, let's just remove the comments here. I'm just gonna leave it empty for now for the image. And then over here, we do have an error. So I was able to figure this out by just changing this to Zim error code success. I think it needs a dot here. And then it's missing the conversation list function. So I'm just gonna copy this over from here. Okay, we can just remove this. And then we're just gonna need to import Zim here to fix this issue. Cool, so now it's all gone. Now we can go ahead and run the app now and see what happens. Cool, so now we do have a button to connect the user. We can go ahead and click on it. And as you can see, it shows us that there is no chats over here. So now let's go back to the documentation and scroll down. And then let's click on the start a one-on-one chat section here. And then let's take a look at the code. I'm just gonna copy this over. Looks like this is the function to start a one-on-one conversation with someone. and we're just going to copy it over, and we can just do this. Let's see. This should be good. And we can remove the comments here. What this is doing is just, you have this user ID, right? Which is the current user ID. So which is your user ID. And then once you call this function with a different user ID, it's gonna start a one-on-one chat with someone else. So that's pretty much it when it comes to copying things over from the documentation. Now we're gonna make this more functional and make our own changes. We're actually going to create example users and see how it works. You would typically set up some sort of authentication, but to keep it simple and focus on the chat functionality, we're going to create our own mock data. So we're gonna go ahead and start by creating a demo user. So I'm actually gonna just do it right here. So struct, then demo user, and then this is gonna have an ID, which is gonna be the user ID, and then this is gonna have the name, which is gonna be the username, and then it's also gonna have the image, which is gonna be a string URL as well. And we're gonna create 4 users. So let's go ahead and do that. So private let demo users, and then these are gonna be demo user, and then it's just gonna be a list, and then we're gonna do demo user, then we're just gonna give it an ID. This is gonna be Jake, and then we're actually gonna match the ID and the username. So name is gonna be Jake as well, and then for the image, it's just gonna be this URL, so https random user .me API, let's close this, and then portraits, I believe, and then you can choose men or woman, and then .jpeg, like this. Cool, so this is our first user. We're gonna do 4 users, and let's change their name, Josh, Jim, and then we're gonna change the image here, and then here we're gonna do Jess, and then Jess, then this is gonna be a woman, and then we can also do Allison, and then Allison, like this. So what we're gonna do next is assign the user, which is gonna be random. So we're just gonna do private lazy var user, and this is gonna be a demo user, so only one, and it's gonna return demo users dot random element, and then we need parentheses here. Let's take a look here, and then we probably need to force this. And then what we're gonna do is go back to where we connected the user over here, and then we're just gonna add their name in parentheses. So let's do user.name here, and then close the parentheses. And we would also need to remove all of this over here because we don't need this anymore, and change this user ID to user.id, and then username to user.name, and then this is going to be user.avatar. And then what we're going to do next is add a button to start a new chat with someone, right? So we do already have the function. Now we just need to add the button, which is going to be in the true conversation list view controller here. And we're going to go over here, and we're just going to add the button as a navigation item. And it's going to be your bar button item. And then we're going to specify all these. Oop. And it's going to be .add. We're just going to do self. And then the selector here is going to be the function we're going to call, which is going to be, and then the method is going to be prompt for new chat which we're going to create shortly. And then what we're going to do is add a cool functionality, which is going to be helpful, which is going to be conversation vc dot navigation item and then dot title. We're just going to update the navigation title, and it's going to be self dot user dot name chats. So for example, in this case, it's going to show us whose chat this is. So for example, it's going to be Jess. It's going to be Jess's chat showing at the top of the screen. Now let's take a look here. So the function is missing. So let's go ahead and create it. Cool. So let's create it over here. Private function. And let's copy this name here. Now first, when you click on this, we're going to create an alert. So let alert, and then UI alert, controller. We're going to pick this option, and then the title is going to be new chat. The message is going to be enter the user ID to chat with, and then preferred style is going to be the alert. Now whenever we click on this, it's going to create an alert, and then we're going to do a text field. And then it's going to have a placeholder, user ID. Then let's pick one of those names, Josh. This is going to be add text field. And then we're also going to add a cancel button, of course, so that we can cancel this action. And it's going to be cancel. And then this is going to be dot cancel as well. And now we just need the start chat button, right? So alert dot add action. And then it's going to be UI alert action. And it's going to be called start. We're going to choose the default one. And it's going to take in some functionality here. And we're going to get exactly the text as it is entered. So like this. Or it's just going to be empty otherwise. What's going on here? So the first here needs a question mark. And then we're going to need to make sure that user ID is not empty. So otherwise, we're going to just return. And then we're going to actually start the chat. So start, and then pass down the ID. And then, of course, we're going to need to present it. Presented view controller dot present. So that way we can show the alert and then animate it as true. And the last thing we're going to do is go to the start one-on-one chat function and change the full screen here to page sheet so that we can close out the sheet without a new button. And another thing we need to do is change this present here and then add the presented view controller as well so that they can match. And that's pretty much it for the code. So let's go ahead and run this app to see it in action. So as you can see here, we do have the iPhone 17 simulator selected. So I'm just going to run it. Cool. Looks like there are no errors. And we're just going to open up the simulator. And so we're going to run two different simulators and start a chat between the two. So let's just wait for the first simulator first. As you can see, it's running now. And then Now we're not going to connect yet. We're just going to run the second simulator, which is going to be the 17 Pro. Cool. So now we do have two simulators running. And what we're going to do is go to the app back in the first simulator. And now we're just going to wait for the second one. Cool. So now we have Josh over here on the 17 Pro and then Jim on the 17 on the right side. So we're going to connect Jim first. And then we're going to connect Josh. So as you can see, it says Jim's chat and then Josh's chat over here. We're going to just click on the plus button on Josh's side. And then we're going to type in Jim. So we can start a new chat with Jim. And as you can see, it's opening up a message prompt here. And then we're just going to say, hi, Jim, and then send it. So as you can see here, it's already working. And I was able to send a message from Josh to Jim. And here, Jim can see that this is Josh, and he can see the picture. And then if we click on it, you'll see the conversation here. And then we can reply. And then say, hi, Josh. And then over here, it says Josh's name. And then you can see the reply over here. And then let's go back here. You can also delete and then pin the conversation as well. And that's pretty much it for this video. You can now build a working chat app using ZEGOCLOUD's chat kit in minutes. Links to documentation and where to sign up for 10,000 free minutes are in the description. If you want more content like this, please subscribe and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.